Yeah, we're good. That was yesterday. We're good. We're good. Oh yeah, I'm already. Yeah. Yeah, I'm already fielding questions.
Well, is it work? Oh, it is working. Hi, everybody. I'm Dan from Vinyl Renaissance. Want to welcome you all today. A couple of housekeeping matters. Thank you. Boy, that's good for the ego. There are tickets still available for tonight's show. We can process them here. This event is being streamed on both the Mavericks and our Facebook pages. We're taking questions through the Facebook streams. We're also taking questions, obviously, from you people who are here. Have I forgotten anything?
I don't think so. I think that's the long and short of it.
That makes shorter the better. All
That's
right. So, without further ado, the Mavericks.
You didn't know that.
I think Raul had a change of heart, huh?
Y'all are so shy.
Okay.
Ball chair. We got that one special for you.
No, really, he is here. He's shopping for records.
Yeah.
How is everyone today? Yeah? Hey, thanks, everybody who's come out to see us. So appreciate it. Thanks. It's nice to be back here at Kansas City. Thank you very much.
All right, so we're going to start fielding questions from the audience.
Did y'all meet Rudy? This is Rudy over here.
Hey guys, my name is Rudy. I hope you're all having a great day.
Could you play some intro music for us on the?
Plum 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 plum. Sorry, the
Hey,
cover
if
is
the
down,
answers
so-
get too long, you can so awesome. You
Yeah,
know,
I'll just So
start to
yeah,
play
so-
some music to shut us up.
Yeah, I only know one tune, and it's Chopsticks, so bear with me. So Mike in the audience has got the wireless mic. If you have a question ready, just kind of raise the hand. Mike will come find you, and we'll start. We're going to take 4 from the audience to start off. So, Mike?
Cool. You guys can call upon who you want.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, here, I'll make it easy, right in front of you. That guy.
All right, Maverick Matt here. Got a 4-part question. I know it'll be
Next guy.
for Paul. What is your favorite song to play? I know you don't get many solos, but as far as just your favorite song to play, what would it be?
That's interesting. I probably should have thought of that before I came here. And again, I don't play solos because I'm not of the caliber that makes it good. And there's only a few people in the world who can do it well. So
You're solid
as
power.
far as solos go, I like to group. So I think my answer is I don't really have a favorite. I have songs that I really like. So I really believe that the role of the drummer is to accompany the song and make it sound as good.
And that's it.
Yeah, and that's it. No fills or anything like that. So lately we've been doing "Pardon Me" again, and I've really been enjoying it. Yeah.
Mr. Raoul, Things I Cannot Change has been a favorite of a little nugget of some of ours, and was curious if you'd ever roll that back into the set again, or is that something you may not roll back in for reasons?
No, I don't know that there's any specific reasons for playing songs or leaving them out.
Why are you feeding back?
Man, because hello, there we go. I don't really have an answer for that. Honestly, like there's just you move on, you start playing other music, and I realize that sometimes songs people hang on to them and for whatever reason, and that's great, and that's not to say we won't play it, but it's gotta be feel interesting to us too, and whenever we play, it's gotta be material that is currently in our, and sometimes currently in our, honestly, stuff I can remember, and that one we it had its moment, and then, but that doesn't mean we won't bring it back, but you never know. I mean, that's a terrible answer. I totally skirted the issue. I avoided it.
You could be a politician.
Yeah, totally. I could run for office. You're welcome, everybody.
Jerry Dale, biggest influence on your piano playing?
I mean, it's hard to say. I think, and it seems weird to say this because it's somebody that's a pop artist, but I guess I would say Elton John. I mean, because he did a lot of stuff, and especially early Elton John, which was, him trying to play like Leon, and he definitely played like country licks and stuff too. Like he loved all kinds of music, so I got a lot from him. I mean, there's plenty of other, Floyd Kramer and Jerry Lee Lewis and all kinds of people that you would know immediately that would be an influence. But I would say Elton's playing was something I always tried to mimic more.
And lastly, Mr. Eddie, you guys are playing "Let the Good Times Roll" by the Cars in some of your recent sets. When you dive into somebody like the Cars, do you develop a greater appreciation for like Elliot Easton and some of the licks he could play?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. A song, especially a song like that, I mean, that's such a classic song. You don't want to mess it up. You know what I mean? But, we're all fans of all that stuff. I mean, the reason our music is hard to define is because there's so much in it. At any given moment, we, whatever Raul feels like doing, we can pretty much kind of, you ought to hear some of the things we're working on. Maybe, I don't know, but yeah, you take it seriously, and it's a lot of fun to try to nail those parts and try to get them just right, because it's more than just the sound. It's how it feels. It's about the energy that comes out and what you're trying to convey and what you're trying to leave people with. So we take it real serious, but. Yeah, I would say we take the fun serious, and that is fun for us, to try to attempt those songs. But we've also been fortunate enough to have great bands, not just this band that we have with us. We're so fortunate to have all of those amazing musicians. But those guys too, they all come with a vocabulary of music themselves. So that's why we can operate in the way we do. So whatever the cover song is, I think we always give it our best shot. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Cool. You guys go ahead and pick the next person.
Okay.
My first comment is I'm giving her credit. We finally got a definitive answer on how to describe to our friends what kind of music you play. She said trying to tell other people what kind of music the Mavericks play is like trying to describe the shape of smoke.
Wow.
And she's a new fan. She just found you 8 months ago, so.
That's awfully nice. Thank you.
And I think this is her 50th trip. My question's for Jerry Dale. On July 4th, maybe 100 years ago, in the first version of the Mavericks, you guys played an outdoor festival somewhere. Raul set you up, and you held a note on "Thank God I'm a Country Boy," and I thought he is going to dress and undress while he holds this note. How long did you... I couldn't believe you did that. I still can't believe you did it. I watched that thing 100 times.
I was going to say, is that a question?
Did you just do that?
I don't, to be completely honest, I don't even remember it. But it sounds like something I would do. You know, like me and my younger brother, he was 3 years younger than I, and we used to challenge each other. I loved Ronnie Millsap as a kid, and we would play Ronnie Millsap records. You know, my parents, of course, were into country music, and that's where I got all my country music, was from my folks. But we would play, it's almost like a song, but it's Much Too Sad to Write. I don't know what the true title is. Yeah. But at the very end of the song, he goes, "It's too sad to write." And he holds the note forever. And so my brother and I used to have a competition to see who could hold it longer. And it'd go like 2/3 into the next song, and we're still holding it. And I beat him every time.
Somewhere over here. Okay. Yeah, just split it up and I'll walk over to him.
Yeah, over here.
Cool.
Hello? My question is about your cover songs you do. I'm just very impressed with David Bowie's Heroes and Pink Floyd, Us and Them. Can you tell us a little about how you pick the covers and why? And I think they're awesome. I've heard them. They're great.
Thank you. There's... I don't think there's any rhyme or reason to it. You know, we just kind of go through the year, and we're always listening to music, and sometimes things hit us, sometimes it's the right moment. You know, Us and Them seemed like a really, it's a really great song to play, you know, especially in these times where we're so divided, you know, we're so polarized. And that song, it's not exactly about that, but it kind of touches on that. And so, and that's not, like I said, that's not really the reason to do it, but you know, it's a cool message. And Heroes, Heroes was inspired by the first responders during the pandemic. You know, those people saved us, you know, and against all kinds of odds, you know, that had nothing to do with them, had to do with our own stupidity and our own ignorance and our own fears and our own, and all that mess. And so Heroes was our tribute to them, you know, and so songs, you know, they, not that everything has a hidden meaning or but you know, that's music, and then we play it and it goes out there into the world, and you know, we get all walks of life at our shows, and you don't know how music is going to hit people, and the fact that we can, you know, in a concert setting, everybody's there together, and you know, there's all kinds of different political parties and affiliations, and yet we're for a couple of hours there together, and music does that. And so the covers are kind of our tribute back to our fans that sit out in the sun waiting for us for hours, you know, and then pass out, you know, and so there's all that, you know. It's just a little bit of payback, a little bit. And also, if people come out and it's like, you know, we get so many repeat customers. You know, people come out to many shows, and it's like, well, at one show they did this, and another show they did that, and I think that makes it interesting and fun, and it keeps it fresh for everybody. You know, so when you come see a Mavericks show, you don't know what you're gonna get. You know, truly like a box of chocolates. You know. So, yeah.
Hey guys, good afternoon. Hey guys, hi. How are you? My name's Tim Barthen. Mavericks fans unite. Hopefully they can hear all you guys out there on the fan page. I've talked to Raul about this several times. My first concert was 1995 at Montgomery County Fair with the Tractors. So I've seen these guys, and I've been all over the country, as I know a lot of you fans are. But I've told Raul this, but I'd like to tell you guys collectively, this, in no disrespect for the past members, this is the best version of the Mavericks ever. Yeah. And your fans know that, so you guys do a great job.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
And you know I've shared that with you, Raul. So my question is when is there going to be an album for Record Store Day? Or maybe a previous old album that you guys redo for Record Store Day.
Oh, it's funny you mentioned that. I think we are remastering our first record, and that'll be, and I believe that'll be ready for Record Store Day of next year. And then, as far as a new Mavericks record, where songs are starting to trickle in, and then it's the process of, but we're busy playing shows, so we'll, that certainly puts a priority on the touring right now. So, but I'm not too worried about it. There'll be songs coming in, and we'll have a record out next year, early, hopefully by summer of next year. I'm being optimistic, but I think so. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna take our first. We're gonna take our first moderated question from the Ask the Mavs forum. This one's from Mark Potter. How was the band approached to take part in the Motley Crue tribute album, Nashville Outlaws? I love the Crue, but the Mavericks stole Dr. Feelgood so handedly that it's hard to listen to the Crue original. Thanks for ruining a piece of my childhood.
You're welcome, Mark.
I think Scott asked us, right?
Well, he asked us. Scott Borchetta wanted us to be on the record, to be on this Motley Crue. Yeah, that's all right. Well, so Scott Borchetta asked us to be on the tribute record. And honestly, I love Motley Crue. I grew up listening to them, and I wouldn't say I grew up listening to them, but they did play. I mean, they were huge, and
could not hear it.
Yeah. And I listened to some of the songs, the big songs that I figured people would do, and the only one that made sense that I thought, okay, we could do something different here, and I just had this idea for the arrangement, and then we just kind of started fumbling with it in the studio, and that's what came out, but it felt like that one, because of the story, the lyrics, it's about a drug dealer in Hollywood, and it just had the, you have to take a song like that and completely deconstruct it. That's the only way. That's how we would do something like that, and that one lent itself to that, and I knew that the band would kill it, and we just we go with it sometimes, and it worked out. It was fun. It was a fun song to do. We might bring that one back.
Motley Crue says you smoked them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, well, I get why they appreciate it too. I mean, it is a great song, and I think that's the best tribute you can pay a song, is to really do it yourself. You're not gonna rock it out more than they do. So You got to go the other way.
Cool. Yeah. This one's a little like from my own personal. Like someone wrote this in, but I chose this one for Paul because selfish
You feel
reasons.
sorry for him?
Yeah, I feel sorry for him. I wanted to give him a little bit of the spotlight today because I knew no one was going to ask him any questions.
Hey, I got the first question.
You got the first Yeah, feel sorry for me. He's got more questions than anybody.
So I guessed wrong. He could have started at the other end of the lineup. So this one's from Rob Nekic. Question for Paul. Is there a drummer that influenced you or that was your favorite?
Oh. Over the years, many drummers. Growing up when I was young, my first favorite drummer was Mickey Dolenz. Because that's the only drummer that I knew because I watched the Monkees. And so Ringo and going on the way. And then got into the rock phase of my life and listened to just about everything from Neil Peart to of course John Bonham and those and then I went to jazz school, so I studied all the jazz drummers. Elvin Jones, love all of them. Chick Webb, just all of that. But I think how I approach playing and the one that I feel the strongest about was Charlie Watts, just because he just grooves and swings and does everything perfect, and he's just an amazing player and was an amazing human being too. So yeah, it'd be Charlie Watts.
Great answer.
Hey, and by the way, let me just clear something about the drum solo thing, because people always, why don't you give Paul a drum solo? And I'm like, let me tell you something. We have tried for years. We would love nothing more than to leave him up there for 10 minutes while he bangs away on the drums and people go goo goo gaga over him while we're back there smoking a joint, having a beer, doing whatever we want, and leave him up there for 10 minutes flailing away on his drums. It would be fantastic. The problem is it will not happen. He hits the cowbell at the beginning of the song, and that's it.
That's my solo.
That's the solo. So
I have a solo. It's the beginning of All Night Long.
That's right. That's right.
We would love nothing more. Oh my God, we're so walking on
I'm
stage.
really close to the door, so I'll get off before they do.
That's true.
Cool. Hey, let's go right here.
Yeah.
I have a question. Yesterday at warm-up, I heard some Dwayne Eddy being played. Rebel Rouser, I think it was.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to do an instrumental?
No. No. We we have before, and.
I'm talking like whole CD.
I just recorded one. But it's a solo record. It features the guys on some of the tracks, and so there is an instrumental record coming out.
But it's all original.
Yeah, it's all original.
Do you want my credit card number now?
Yes.
We'll take your information
It'd be
after the show.
for some shopping, some records here.
I gotta know that.
Cool. Let's go that way.
Okay, this is it on?
Check.
Oh, press closer. This is a question for Raul. So I listen to Quarantunes a lot, and I know your sons are in there playing and banging away as well. And then you have Sweet Lizzie in there as well. I'd love to be your neighbor. What do your neighbors think of your household?
Well, it's funny because we literally live like almost like on the Belmont campus. So for the first time in my life, I'm not the noisy one in the neighborhood. So it's cool. We blend right in. It's a house filled with and during the pandemic, it was certainly filled with musicians.
So neighbors come over and they say, "Hey, is it all right if we can join? Do you have block parties and stuff, or what?"
No, but we would have jam sessions in the afternoon and during the pandemic, and we would sit outside and just play music to nobody, but people were listening. That was the time in the pandemic where people weren't even walking their dogs. It's like you were just at home and you like
Yeah.
you didn't even want to go outside and like rub up against a tree or something. You're like scared. But so we sat outside and played music and just out into the open air. I don't know. That's kind of what Quarantunes was, really. It just became a record eventually.
It was awesome.
Oh,
And
thank you.
I have a second question. You guys are all looking really good. We're all getting older, but you guys are looking great. How do you stay healthy on the road?
Point to that one right back there.
Wow.
She's Alejandro's our videographer and content creator. She's his fiance, and so she's out on the road with us, working us out, and
She's a fabulous trainer and
in charge of
nutritionist.
nutritionists, in charge of nutrition which means basically no cookie and donuts on the bus.
So we love her and hate her at the same time.
But mostly love. Except when she makes me do stuff extra. And it hurts. And then I pout like a child. It's great.
Doing something you love doesn't hurt either. We've been fortunate enough to be doing this as long as we all have been doing this. And I will say that proudly, that's how much we put into it still after all these years. Perhaps even more so because, the older we get, the more we realize, we're in a moment now where, how long can we really keep doing this? Hopefully forever. But I think doing something you love to do is a big part of it as well. Perhaps I spoke too soon. But that's how I feel about it. You know what I mean?
But you eat in restaurants and stuff? I mean, how do you do your, it sounds amazing to me. How do you do it?
It can be difficult, but you kind of learn the ways around it and what to order and things. If you know what you should eat and what you shouldn't eat, you can work your ways around it. It is tough at times, but we also have big refrigerators on the bus, so we try and keep those
Doritos, Oreos,
yeah,
hot dogs from the Pilot Travel Center.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna put this out here.
That's
really
our reality.
nice.
It's not as glamorous as you might think, but you have to work at it.
And I was going to say, on that note, it is really very kind of those who bake things for us and do this, but we can't say no. So our nutritionist back there would request that, I don't know.
All right, we'll do another moderated question. This was
Is
from
it for
Steve
me?
Cody. Yeah, no, this is
We're
for
not friends anymore?
This is for everyone. No, we'll talk later. We'll talk after the show. Considering quitting my job and following the Mavericks full time, how much does it pay to be a roadie? And is it enough to make the wife happy? And in happy, I mean free Maverick concerts.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, we appreciate the offer. We really do. But no, it's not enough to keep your wife happy. Trust us. This is, I think everybody that's on our crew, I mean, we get this all the time. People like, oh, it must be so much fun. And it is. But you have to be a little bit of a roustabout, a little bit of a gypsy, and have that spirit, because it's not for everybody, that's for sure. So we appreciate the offer, but we got the old grumpy guy road crew covered.
Yeah.
We got that covered.
And he might not realize that they do 16-hour days. So.
Yeah. We'll let Steve think it over.
Yeah.
Hi guys, greetings from Buffalo, New York. All right. I'm just curious. So, child of the '70s, and been lucky enough to see a lot of concerts over the years. And I'm not absolutely proud to say it, but people ask, and I always say Kiss was my first concert, but it was actually Casey and the Sunshine Band. But the next year I saw Kiss and everything changed. So I was just curious, as far as. I know, you guys have a lot of different musical influences and all those things, but first concert for each of you? Or first memorable concert, I guess?
First concert, real concert in an arena, very first one was Elvis Presley, 1977. Yeah, that was a good one.
I'll go next, and I will say my first concert was John Denver in the Round. And that's why I can sing, "Thank God I'm a country boy."
What was yours?
I don't know. Okay, I guess I'll go. Mine was ZZ Top. My dad was such a fan of just all kinds of music, but he was really a rock and roller at heart, and that's a big part of how we communicated, me and him. You know, I just wanted to be his buddy, and he took me to all of these things. I saw all these amazing shows, but ZZ Top was the first one, and it was at the LA Forum in 1982. And wrecked since then. You know what I mean? But identified as well as a young person. I felt like that was also me too, in some way, and I don't know where I got that from as a kid, but I had that in me already. But ZZ Top was so impactful and so inspiring to me. And years later, when I was fortunate enough to play with Dwight Yoakam, I actually got a chance to know Billy Gibbons pretty well. And he was always friendly to me, so it was. I've had a lot of surreal moments that way, you know. So, but ZZ Top was the first one. Yeah.
And the first concert I saw was on Key Biscayne. My sister took me to. My older sister was John Sebastian. And the first one I bought a ticket to was Yes, also on Key Biscayne, Marine Stadium, the Close to the Edge tour.
Probably don't really need a microphone, but I'll use it. Thanks for showing up in KC as often as you do.
Sure.
Thank you. My first shot at you was Thursday night, and I've been listening to you, and just so glad you guys do what you do.
Oh, thank you.
My question for you is, I don't know what popped up, but I was checking out musicians from Texas, and my favorite musician that I got to see live, of course, from Texas is Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Sure.
And I was fortunate to see him twice, but did you ever get to jam, not knowing nothing about your age and all that kind of stuff, but like with Willie Nelson or Waylon Jennings or Stevie Ray? If not, did you get to at least, go check them out, and what were your thoughts? It was tough to beat Stevie Ray. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much.
Sure. Sadly, I never got to meet Stevie Ray or jam with him. But Jimmy's our buddy, and we've jammed with him several times. He's joined us on stage at the Moody Theater in Austin, and I've gone to see his Sunday night gigs at Sea Boys in Austin. Sat in with him, so he's a friend. And as far as Willie played on one of our records. I got to sing "Crazy" at the Library of Congress, honoring him, honoring Willie that night for the Gershwin Award. So we've been pals, and yeah, we know a lot of these guys, and I feel lucky that we backed up Willie and Johnny Cash. We were the house band for a Johnny Cash tribute record.
Or special.
I'm sorry,
special,
not tribute record. It's TV special.
Yeah.
And so we've been I always tell my Uber drivers, when they ask me what I do, I said, I'm the most famous person you've never heard of. Because they don't know who, and then once I get out of the car and they go, oh my God, that dude was just in my car, and it's like, and that's and that's all right, but yeah, in answer to your question, we have done that kind of stuff, and I feel fortunate and proud that we've done that.
Did any of you get to jam with actually see Stevie Ray?
I don't know if anybody here has seen him live.
No, I never got a chance
I
to see
never got
him.
a chance. Listened
No.
to him a lot, but never got to see him.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
We'll do one more moderated question now. This one is for Eddie. Eddie, you performed with Dwight Yoakam for many years. I hear some of the guitar styles used there with the Mavericks. What was your guitar playing? Who were your guitar playing influences?
Wow. God, well, if I could start, the first one was Chuck Berry. My dad told me, he said, when I was learning, when I was a kid, I was 8 years old, so he said, hey, Ed, if you want to be a rock and roll guitar player, you have to know Chuck Berry, because there is no rock and roll without Chuck Berry. And how wise was that, right? That's my father telling me at 8, 9 years old, and so I put myself absolutely into his music. And into the spirit of that music, I found myself as well. And then from there, because when you're learning, I'm a self-taught musician by ear, and so when you're learning, especially as a kid, you're so wide open, to the information. That's why the children can pick all these things up so fast, But Chuck Berry is what I threw myself into, and through Chuck Berry is how I got to know the Rolling Stones, and how I got, and so it was it's, for me, I've had a really long, it seems like it at least, a really long journey of just trying to get all the knowledge, we're all just, after all these years, still just trying to get better and trying to stay open, and, because you can't receive the information if that thing is closed, you know what I mean? So we try to stay open. But Chuck Berry is number one, and then from there comes, everybody from George Harrison to the Beatles, to Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top, to Pete Anderson, who was the original guitarist with Dwight Yoakam, who produced all those records. It's monster records. That stuff for me was very influential. And so there's everything in there, even the jazz greats too that I love. Wes Montgomery and Stevie Ray Vaughan. He pulled a lot from those guys as well. So I think when you get into it, you find that you will pull from all these things that turn you on. This morning I was listening to an Albert King record, man, and it was making my soul feel good. You know what I mean? So we're always listening and we're always learning, and I hope that I continue to stay that way. But it starts with Chuck Berry, number one.
You
guys are always touring, always rehearsing, obviously. This is what you're doing in your spare time. Do you ever get to sleep late on Sunday morning, have a gooey coffee, piddle-puddle around the kitchen, go out to the yard? Do you ever get to relax like that?
It may not always be Sunday morning. It'll probably be Monday morning.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Usually, because Sundays is when we get home. So yeah, you find those days, and it's important to find. It may not always coincide with a Sunday, but we can't be picky like that. As long as we get to do that, though, we have a saying like, you gotta stop and smell the flowers every once in a while, and that's what those kind of days are. So yeah, it's important.
Can I add that, we had this little thing called the pandemic, so we had a lot of those mornings. It's kind of nice to not have to do that, actually, for a change, and actually go do what we love to do. So.
One more.
Who's next? Anybody? I got one.
When the hell's this over? That's his question.
Thank you. My wife and I saw you about 30 years ago at Johnson County Community College. And you, that ages all of us, I know, but you did a bunch of cover songs of the Beatles and Motown. And I've never, ever heard any covers done like that in my life since then. And the question is, I guess, is there any way you can publish those, or do you publish those, or do songwriting rights and legalities get in the way of that?
Well, there's two different things. We're not going to publish those. They're already published. Right. They're copywritten. Now what you can do is a performer live, if we were to put those on a record, then the writers of those songs would get their royalties. But you don't need to have permission. You can record whatever you want. Especially once a song has been published. What you can't do is you can't just re-record, let's say, My Girl, or the lick of My Girl, and then not give Smokey Robinson any credits.
Gotcha.
You know, that's what you can't do.
You did the Ronettes' "Be My Baby."
Oh, sure.
And oh my God, I mean, all credit to the Ronettes, but yours
Oh,
nailed.
thank you.
Love that.
We recently resurrected it right after she passed, as a tribute to her, and we hadn't played it in probably about 25 years, and it didn't matter. We all knew it, you know. So thank you for saying that. Yeah, I love that.
All right, we're going to do one moderated here. This one's from Lori Hilliard. She says, come on, guys. One favorite song from each. And I understand how hard that is, and it may change from day to day. What's your favorite song today?
Of all time?
I think it's from our discography. I think that's how I'm reading that, like from the Mavs.
Oh.
What's your favorite song of ours?
Oh, okay.
Of yours. It's not mine.
Of ours, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would say for my own reasons, I like the song. I like the Amsterdam Moon. This is one of my favorites. But
Paul?
Well, I think I already gave that answer, so I'll give it again. Pardon Me is the one
Pardon
that
Me.
I really, really love him
Eddie?
these days.
I like Dance in the Moonlight. There's a personal story attached to that, and that's something we worked on many years ago, and it just resurfaced in the midst of bringing the band back together at the last minute when we were recording the In Time record. So the way it came to be, and then the way it showed itself years later, and now how it lives with all of you. I think Dance in the Moonlight is probably my favorite. But that's always changing. But today...
I don't know. It's too hard. I know we've answered this when we did our little versions, and I'll say the same one, which was, I think we did. I don't know. But anyway, I usually say In Another's Arms, and we don't even play that live, but I just think it's such a beautiful song. I still someday, you know, hope somebody like Adele records it or something, and you make $1 zillion, so...
Mike?
Okay. Hi guys, this is David Chavez.
Hey,
and,
Dave,
and Sarah over here. Raul and actually for the whole group, how long in the making was the En Espanol album? And then how did you pick the song mix? And then the third one is, with the success of it, is there going to be a follow-up?
You know, I'll start backwards. In terms of the follow-up, we certainly have thought about it, and yes, I think it would be really fun to do another En Espanol record at some point. But I have an idea for that one, and we change things up a little bit. And I think it'd be fun to collaborate with some artists. So we have an idea for that one, and we'll at some point there will be a follow up to En Espanol, because it was a lot of fun to make this record, and it was also a lot of fun to get to talk to other parts of the world that you wouldn't normally in a normal cycle of a record wouldn't get to do that. And so the En Espanol really it probably took about 2 years to make, if I had to say, from the first time that we recorded something to the finishing up. And really it was recorded in between tours, in between other records, because we had to play the hits record, and we had a Christmas record, and that we were recording. And so when we would have extra days in the studio, we would record some of the Spanish stuff, and in between tours we'd come into Nashville and do the same, and then before we knew it, we had 10 songs, and it's like, okay, this album's ready. It just so happened that it was ready right when the world was shut down, but it also, on the flip side of that, it's probably it's going to be the first album that we've released on our label that is going to actually be registered gold here pretty soon. So yeah, go figure. It's crazy, right? It's just, but it's beautiful too, and so that was really it. And the songs we picked them as we went along. Something inspired us. Sometimes it was just a last minute idea. Sometimes it was thought out. Sometimes we would talk about it on the bus for weeks at a time and just go over thoughts and arrangement songs and cover songs and then the writing part of it, that took time, but over 2 years, I would say.
Well, we have plans to bring you to Las Vegas for our Vegas Tejano music event, and we almost had you this year, but next year we'll have you guys.
Yeah. This year, my God, it's so crazy this year, but next year for sure, man. Yeah.
All right, we're going to take 3 more from the crowd. So if you've got them,
down here. Or, you know what, he's been waiting for a while.
It's on? Okay.
Yeah.
This is for Jerry Dale. Let's go back to your record, Stand and Cast a Shadow.
That man is a pro right there.
On that record, one of my favorite musicians, Dwayne Eddy, was part of that. Do you have any good stories about him?
Well, I felt fairly lucky, obviously, to get Dwayne Eddy. He played on 2 songs on the record. He had just moved to Nashville, and for some reason, and I don't even remember how it was connected, but it was probably one of the first things he did once he moved to town. Now he's played on tons of people's records, including the Mavericks. We recorded a song with him. So, but back then, I was just a kid, and it was so amazing to get Dwayne Eddy to play on on my record. But sometime after that, his son Chris Eddy became one of my best friends, and we've written tons of songs together, and I've hung out with Dwayne many times, and he and his wife Deed, and they're just the sweetest people on the planet. But so I feel lucky that somehow magically we got Dwayne Eddy on that first record, and he's kind of always been in my life a little bit, in various ways, and he's a sweetheart. So I'm so glad he's still alive and playing guitar, man. He's one of my favorites.
2 more?
Mikey, there's a wow. Oh no, I don't mean to ignore you. Go ahead. I'm a bad guy now. I know. Way to go.
Hi, gentlemen. I want to first say thank you for being so accessible. It means a ton to us. Two quickie questions. First one: large venue or small venue?
It doesn't matter. The show goes on. Now, obviously, large venue, more money. That's always good. But sometimes it's not about that. Sometimes, and sometimes you can make the same amount of money, a lot less trouble and a lot more fun at a place like Knuckleheads. Honestly, absolutely. I mean, it's one of our. I mean, it's fun for us, obviously, and I love Knuckleheads, and I love the train and all that. And it's fantastic. It's just, and it's hard to explain to people. Like, you explain it to people, and they think like you're crazy. Like, that sounds like a nightmare. I'm never going. And then they come in, and it's like they realize it's like, oh yeah, this is a blast. And so, it really depends. I mean, that's the honest answer. It really depends, because sometimes, you play to a large crowd in a large arena, and it seems uninspired, and because sometimes the crowd is really far away from you, and it's a different experience. That's not always the case, but but it's different every time. What really matters the most is honestly the energy in the room. Because it could be 50,000 people, but if they ain't looking at you or they could care less, that's just dead mass out there, you know. So, you know, that's really the important part. You know?
Is anybody from Swift Current, Saskatoon? Good.
Well, we enjoy our small, intimate venue because of that.
Sure. I think fans enjoy that
really
more.
It's
sure.
interactive, and we love it.
Well, thank you, man.
Second question, a little off the cuff. Would you each sign my guitar?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No problem. Hey, Mikey. Yeah, she's really mad.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's really mad. She's been waiting for hours.
For you. Why'd you do that?
Yeah. Why'd you do that, Raul?
Hi.
Hi.
I understand you're headed across the pond to do some shows.
Yeah.
And you're probably excited about your Espanol album being over there. But what's different about performing over there, if anything? Is it easier, better, fun?
It's always fun. It's funny. We get asked that a lot, and you know, people are people everywhere you go, and you know, they want to get the same groove on that we get on here, and they want to.
Except for in Swift Current.
Except for
Yeah.
I don't know what they want.
The
to
one
do.
place.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's more, you know, there's just in England when we play there sometimes, they're very, very polite a lot of the time, so they wait until a certain point. I know that when we, in the 90s when we were playing there, at some point they aired one of the shows at the Royal Albert Hall on the BBC, and on TV everyone got up on this one song, and from then on, whenever we played that song, that was our cue. Oh, we can get up and stand in front of the person behind us. So it's interesting. So yeah, socially there's some differences, but there are from state to state, you know. So it's but Raul's right. Once they get going, it might take a little longer, but it's all in party.
Let's do one more. Let's do one more, and then we'll call it.
It really isn't a question, it's more of a comment. More of a comment that we were in Dubuque and saw you, and for us, we noticed you had a change in accordion player.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he was awesome. Just wish the best for the other. I don't remember the other fellow's name.
Sure.
But everybody, they were great. So
Yeah.
that's all
thanks.
I love the Offenbach startup of your show.
Thank you.
I hope you
Thank
do
you for
that
that.
Thanks.
Thank you, man.
Well, guys, do we want to do one more?
Do one more.
Yeah, let's do one more.
Sure.
How did the Kansas City connection begin? It began Stazos.
We showed up.
Yeah. You know what's interesting is
and we begged people to come out to a show, you know, and it started years ago, you know, and
do you remember how though?
No.
Remember the initial connection was Michael, our manager's father, was frequent in Knuckleheads.
Oh, at Knuckleheads, yeah.
And he knew Frank, and he kept telling us, you guys got to come play Knuckleheads. You got to play Knuckleheads. It's a really great place. So years later, it took us a minute to get a booking agent to track it down and do it, but we did, and since first time we got here, we've never looked back, so, yeah.
Let's do one more, guys. Just real quick, you've played in Cuba and you've played at Knuckleheads. Which is more humid?
Oh no, Cuba.
Cuba, definitely.
Oh yeah. It's not even close, man.
Yeah.
Even Thursday night, as humid as it was, it's not even close.
All right, folks.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank y'all.
Thank you for being here.
We'll see you tonight.
For the good times. I'll get along.
It's because it's sitting on a high stool with the mic like
Turn
this.
these off.